Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Housing Market Report. My name is Brad Wolfe. I am with Life Realty District. I run a team here called Team Wolfpack. My license number is 169790, and I am located in Las Vegas, Nevada, the fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada. And I'm making this video. We do it kind of quarterly just so we can emphasize kind of what's happening in the market, to try to look at different indicators that can give us, I don't know, a forecast into the future, so to speak. So let's get started. The big question on everyone's mind is 2022 going to be the year that real estate crashes, or is it going to thrive somewhat to what it did in 2021? My opinion is the later of that response, but let's look at some graphs and some data and see what we can tell. Bill McBride is saying it is possible that rising mortgage interest rates will slow the housing market, or the Fed might raise rates sooner than expected due to the recent pickup in inflation. But he believes that one thing is certain, and inventory will tell the tale. Here in Nevada locally, well, Las Vegas locally, we're sitting at around 2,000 homes on market with about 4,000 to 4,500 closed sales per month. So our inventory is definitely low in our market here, and we're definitely feeling it. The next slide, the bad news is listings are at record lows. How low? If we look at a graph year over year, Nevada is 29.9% lower in inventory than it was the same time in December of 2020. So inventory nationally is rated right about 26.8% lower year over year. Inventory is low. Let's look at demand. Months of inventory for sale. You can see back in January of 19, 3.8 months worth of inventory for sale. May, June 4.6. Right now, nationally, this is coming from NAR, we've got about 2.1 months worth of inventory of homes for sale, or an absorption rate of 2.1%. Buyer activity. Showing Time puts together an index based on the amount of homes available and the amount of showings to show us a showing indicator. If there's a large number of showings, we know that there's probably going to be a large number of contracts and then a larger number of sales that come together. So based on this index, you can see January 2020, their index is showing 153. To November, 156. Usually during the holiday seasons, you'll see showings kind of decrease on scale. So November, we dropped down to 156, December 156. In January 2021, it shot through the roof, 236, May 284, April 281, and then March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and then look at November of this last year. It didn't quite go down as much as the year before, showing that there is a greater demand out there. Showings crushed pre-pandemic numbers. So again, the index is showing showing activity over the last 5 years. 2017, 1.39%. 2018, 98.2%. 2019, 107.2%, 2020, and then look at where we were in 2021. So our showings have definitely picked up quite a bit. Michael Lane says showings traditionally lag during the holiday seasons, but the data we're seeing tells us buyer demand remains strong. The fact that every region showed a year-over-year increase indicates that buyers are undeterred. It speaks to their desire to keep searching for their next new home. Let's see, we go into pending home sales over the last 5 months. Pending home sales have also picked up, or I'm sorry, the last five, over the last 5 November. So pending home sales, 109 and 17, 101 and 18, look at 19, and then 2020, and then 2021. So pending home sales are on the rise as well. Home equity is a big question. We saw an average of 20 to 30% appreciation last year nationally and in different parts of our local market here, equaling a lot of equity for homeowners now. The lack of insight around home equity presents an opportunity for real estate professionals who are always looking for touch points with clients in the past. Maybe someone wants to use their home equity to pay off other properties or buy income producing properties, or get out of forbearance or issues that might have happened around there. Core Logic, they're saying their Q3 homeowner equity report, the average home equity gain for U.S. homeowners was $57,000 last year. So a year over year percentage increase in equity for U.S. homeowners, 31.1%. Year over year total increase in equity for U.S. homeowners with mortgages, $3.2 trillion. And it says this summer's home price growth reached the highest level in more than 45 years, pushing equity gains to another record high. So $57,000 is what the average homeowner across the U.S. Put in their pocket last year just in equity. Homeowners' equity growth is still surging. So this is year over year from 2020 to 2021. How much on average equity did they get for the year? The national average was 56,700. Locally here in Las Vegas or in Nevada, we're at about 80,000. California, 119,000. Washington, 96. So a lot of strong equity built. And for people waiting, this is how much the prices have increased with just them waiting that last year. Not only have equity gains helped homeowners more seamlessly transition out of the forbearance and avoid distressed sales, but they've also enabled many to continue building their wealth. U.S. households own $36.8 trillion in owner-occupied real estate, $11.5 trillion in debt, and the remaining $25 trillion is in equity. In inflated adjusted terms, homeowners had an average of $294,000 in equity in Q3 in 2021. So what that's saying is your average homeowner nationally had almost $294,000 in equity. That's a huge number there. What to expect in 2022 housing market? Mortgage rates are on the rise. We can tell if you pay attention to the bond rates, the 10-year Treasury bond rate, you can see it moving. It was at 1.88 earlier in the week. I think it's down to 1.74 today. But we have forecasted numbers from different entities. Like Freddie Mac is indicating a rise of 3.4 in Q1, 3.5 in Q2, 3.6 in Q3, and 3.7 in Q4. Fannie Mae's, they have their estimates. The Mortgage Bankers Association, they have their estimates, thinking they're going to be right around 4% towards the end of the year. And then NAR is kind of right on point there also, estimating will be around 3.7 for our average 30-year mortgage by the end of 2022. So it just shows that all four of these entities are predicting an increase, but a slow increase, nothing too insane or too crazy. But waiting could cost you more in both equity and in interest rates. Forbearance, this was the big hot button topic. We deal a lot with REOs in our team, and this is something we've been watching pretty closely. With the forbearance numbers, they started very high. So almost 4.76 million homes were in forbearance in May of 2020. And you can see this graph taper off to where we're at today. So we have right around 890,000 homes in forbearance nationally, which is a very low number from where we started with. This is a result from the equity that people have gained over these last few years, have given them some negotiating power with the banks to pull themselves out of forbearance, but a very small number in regards to where we started before. So forbearance kind of being more of a minor issue for us this year than it has been in the past, with only 890,000 homes nationally. That's big. We may see a little bit of an uptick in foreclosure rates in 2022. Just an uptick, though, from extraordinary low levels. We're not expecting to see big increases. We expect delinquency rates overall on home mortgages to actually continue to remain quite low. The reason we're going to see an uptick is because during the pandemic, foreclosures were basically stopped. They were stalled. You couldn't do evictions. A lot of the banks that we know of haven't done evictions from like May of 2019. So we're going to see evictions and foreclosures and stuff happen from what happened in May of 2019. You'll see a slow amount of numbers rise, and it's really going to depend on how and what source you're getting your information from. Our defaults on average in Las Vegas right now, we might be averaging 6 or 8 a day, which is very low. But if you look at the amount of defaults we had during the pandemic, it was very, very minor, 1, 2, or 3. So when you average that out, it's showing, we're up 50%, but 50% of a very small number is still a very small number. So we don't see a huge amount of foreclosures coming around anytime soon. Home price acceleration. This is a really interesting graph. I like the fact that if you look at the bottom of the graph, this depicts that home appreciation in this graph is already starting at record highs. Real estate appreciation conservatively may go 3 to 6% a year. This graph started at 10%, so I thought that was kind of funny. And it shows that from January, February, March, April, May, how much we increased. And let me just point out, April, we saw one of the lowest inventory levels I've ever seen. In Vegas, it was under 1,800 homes for sale. So April, May, June, July, we saw some of our biggest increases in prices, but also some of the lowest inventory we've ever seen locally in our market. I'm sure that was the same case for a lot of the markets nationally. But that's kind of what happened. And then you see it kind of tapering off at around that 18, 19%. But real estate, when you're getting 18, 19, 20% appreciation on a house, that's very, very aggressive. Again, remember, conservatively, your averages over the last 30 years, like 3 to 6%. So the fact that we went up here, pretty crazy. So are prices tapering off, or have they peaked? Not necessarily. Peaking would mean this graph comes down in a U and it comes in a downward motion. I think we've stabilized, but to stabilize at 18% is still pretty aggressive real estate wise. Home price forecast for 2022. The averages of all of these entities ends up being about 5.2%. You've got NAR saying home prices are going to go up another 2.8%. Zelman, HPAS, the Mortgage Bankers Association, CoreLogic 6%, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae. These are numbers that we're going to have to pay attention to. Again, the slow demand is going to drive home prices, again, pretty much higher this year. I think we can expect a similar market to what we had last year as long as the inventory is there. Overall, I do think that 2022 will be another strong year for housing, albeit a little bit higher mortgage rates, and we do think home sales will continue to rise and actually reach a 16-year high in 2022. And that's basically it on our side. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to us. Thank you guys for listening to our market report. Again, if you're looking for a house to buy, the sooner you lock into something, the better in both interest rates and in price. We hear from buyers all the time that want to wait, but when they wait, they end up paying more for less, or it just kind of makes sense. So if you have any questions, please reach out and give us a call, 702-308-0813, and have a fantastic day.